Welcome to Skyton Academy, where excellence meets opportunity. As one of the 5 pillars, our next focus is professional development. Here, students dive deep into courses like planning and execution and brace for upcoming masterclasses like private equity investing. But that's just the beginning. Soon, they'll immerse themselves in real estate fix and flip, tax lien sales, and even learn the art of business brokerage. And yes, there's ChatGPT 101 and much more. With an enrollment fee of just $50 per month, Skyton Academy empowers you to unlock your full potential. Join us. Let's soar together. What's going on, ladies and gents? We're back at it again for another episode of .Connect Wednesdays. This is episode 63. Man, 63 episodes. This is wild. This is impressive. I'm actually excited about this one. We got a couple things that we're going to change up inside the academy, but we got some great things that we're going to present to you guys today. We've been working on, so we're just going to dive right in. Steve, where we starting at?
All right, let's get so real quick, guys. I'm not going to go addressing anything too deep since it's a document call. So family business will be discussed Saturday. So if you're part of the academy, you will get a message from us for a link, a members only call. And it's just going to be about just discussing the platform. We're going on 3 years in November. So, if you've built a business before, you kind of know that you go through different iterations of business. We have to move with the times. We have to change with what our students and members are saying. So we're taking heed to a lot of things. We are hearing some chatter that's not coming to us direct, right? So I'm a firm believer in, if you want to talk about somebody and you don't want them to know, you either go to them first or you tell someone, right? So I've always been open and honest with you guys. My life is on here. My first and last name is there. You see my family all the time. So I'm pretty transparent. I don't feel like I'm a guy that's like faceless.
Right.
I'm authentic. I lead in truth. So I'm hearing some chatter, right? Some people are a little upset about certain things and being priced and things like that. So if you're on here, you're watching a replay, see you on Saturday, right? Air your grievances. This is how we learn. Every time I ask you guys for a review or some type of recommendation of what we can do, everyone is quiet. Okay, so there's a couple people in here stirring the pot. It may not be too many. The one thing I can tell you guys, and I'm not going to give this much time, is we have the stats and the data. So if we're giving you a $50 a month membership, and I'm noticing that only 10% of people are actually finishing courses, then what are we talking about right now? Right. So that means people aren't getting certified. Every course comes with a certification. And I'm not blaming people for that. We're going to start to take accountability, and we're moving a little bit differently. We're going to start to get back to the live training, live discussions. We're going to have a lot more weekly calls to make sure that we're getting people through things. And so Saturday will be family talk. We're going to tell you what we've been working on, because it is tough, guys. When you come from, none of us have been formal educators before. So this is a first time for online platforms and online learning. The one thing I will tell you is $50 is not $50,000, because I have everyone that is following us at this roundtable has student debt. So that means if you are following us, you are looking to get caught up with the times, because that education that you took in the 1900s is no longer relevant. And then the education that your children are taking today in the 2000s is no longer relevant, even though they didn't finish. That's why we created the Future of Finance at $50 per month. But if you are not taking action on the things that we've included and you're only looking at a $47 product, we have to have a discussion about that. Yeah. So I'm looking at the stats and the data, and that's what I've been doing for the last year, right? Since the transitional change from Skyton Crypto University to Skyton Academy. And the data is showing me that people are not starting and people are not finishing. So I never wanted to create a platform where we feel like you have to FOMO in. Right. And that's what it feels like. People come in here for crypto, people come in here for a multitude of things, for trading, and then there's like a plethora of other things. So as a leader, I have to effectively do my job a lot better than what it was done, than what was done, what's being done currently. So I'm taking full accountability for just some things, and I'll lay it out on Saturday, and after that, the floor is open to you guys to give it to me, right? Because I've been asking for it. So I'm kind of glad I heard the chatter. So we're just going to address the chatter because a lot of things were coming in, changes were coming anyway, coming on our third year. The one thing I can tell you is in Champ 2, we're super appreciative for everyone who is a current member, everyone who is a former member, and everyone who is almost a member. And even if you're not a member, we tell you that if you follow 63 episodes of Connect Wednesdays, it's all in there.
You got it.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, guys, we have to understand we are all in this to learn together. And if you don't add to the ecosystem, then you're just kind of here taking, right? And usually when you take without recommendation, that's not a good exchange. So we've heard over time, all our stuff is priceless. And, I understand we can't make everybody happy, but there are better things that we can be doing, and they will be announced soon. So we are ramping up. When you start to build these systems, Storm's on there. I'm sure he has his group, and it's not easy building back end and making sure that things are running effective. We are no longer using third-party, sites, right? We don't teach on Discord anymore. We started with Telegram, and all that was so we can build our own community and learning space where our data is our data and our talks are our talks. Okay. So even next year, we're probably going to be phasing out Zoom, and we're going to go to something a little bit more decentralized. All right. Next will be AI has been at the forefront. So that's one of the biggest pivots that we had to make. So we were rooted in cryptocurrency first, and we still are. But crypto is one of those things. Once you get the foundational understanding, you kind of it's a waiting game. Okay. It's a waiting game. I can go back to the days of 2 years ago where we call Solana at $22. Average entry for Solana right now is like $125.
130, yeah.
Right. The issue with us and some other groups is when you're dealing with financial instruments, we tell people do not show your portfolio online. Do not tell people. So this is how we've trained a lot of our members. Okay. So we have people in the group that are up 200-300% on portfolios. They're happy just for being in here, but it's not about the money part. They're just happy for understanding the future of finance. Right. And then we showed you different ways that you could build verticals. So this academy is not just sitting back giving information out. We are actually in implementation phase. We have a deep-in group. And again, I sent a message out the other day to the deep-in group. The same thing. What happens is, at the time, there were so many deep-in projects. We hit hardware issues with delays and things like that. So that affects, how soon you can start earning rewards. So Hive Mapper was one of them that we gave out. I caught my Hive Mapper probably 3 months after we dropped the information. And by the time it got to me, there's like no rewards. Yeah. So I didn't want to put the deep-in group in harm's way like that, because if you pay $300-400 or maybe $600-700 for a device and you're not being rewarded because of delays, it looks bad on the academy. Yeah. Right. So we're just moving towards a different aspect. So we'll deal with the deep-in group in the way we deal with them. If you're part of the group, that we're just going to start to get into the spot calls. So if we don't have the hardware and we believe in the company, we're going to start to buy the company. All right. The second part to the deep-in situation is not only can you buy the company or utilize the hardware to be part of the company, but you can also build and implement product off of data. Guys, the entire world is running on an open API now. And so is the internet. We've just given up so much of our freedom where it feels closed off. It feels like only a few guys have control and own the internet. All right. So, in talking to Champ, we pivoted a couple months ago and we started to build out the AI. And what did we title it, Champ?
The AI, artificial intelligence, the blueprint.
Well, the actual group that we formed.
Okay, got it. That's the AI Visionaries Network.
Yeah. So AVN, AI Visionaries Network, right? That's the name of the group. You will get access to it. It is going to be a free group. That's where we're just going to put everybody in on AI. You have to understand, not every product we put out is going to be a product that's suitable for someone, right? And crypto is one of those. Now, with the AI situation, we can't say that you can't be ignorant to AI because it's diminishing the job market right now in every single way possible, right? So that's when I felt like, listen, all hands on deck. Let's put down this crypto stuff. The foundation is solid. It's 5 parts. Champ, you could just drop it in there. If no one's a member and you haven't taken a foundation, you could take it a la carte. If you're a member, it's included in your membership. Now, the AI situation, we use AI tools every day in our business. This is how we keep, and not that I don't want to hire employees, but it's just one of those things, guys. This is what the technology is for. So everyone is going to start to slim up their job market. We could bring on Storm, and he could just tell us, if he's using AI in his world, and is it there? Is it a real thing? Because I don't want you thinking it's just Champ and I as business owners. This is a real thing, guys. It is saving us a lot of money. The first person we have on our payroll is a copywriter. So we don't just take AI and create content for you guys. We take AI and we have a copywriter who understands our voice, and he turns those into our stories. And all our emails and everything that go out are not AI generated. They may start out AI generated, but then the copy is actually, and that's how we formulate our thoughts in AI. And then once we get it to our copywriter, then that's then sent to, all our members. So in doing so, we're using, different products, AI products, to just make business a lot more, efficient, fluid, more effective. And I'm like, listen, I was part of a generation where you had to advertise in a phone book. That's how long I've been doing business. Okay. I had retail stores. There was no social media back then. It was like either you knew the store or you didn't. Right. So you had to understand customers. You had to understand, we were just doing street work, hand to hand, guerrilla marketing. So I come from that generation. So when I first got on the internet, I had no clue I was going to be a content creator. All right. We just fall in that category as educators. But then what happens? The pandemic comes, and a lot of those guys were knocking heads off. $80,000 product. I've even heard one guy say, you got a scholarship for $100,000. Now it's down to 80. I'm like, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? I've just been seeing a lot on the internet. So I like to say I'm the adult in the room, not naming any names, but there are some products that are coming out. One of the products I'm going to tell you that I'm building right now is a funnel product, right? A funnel is an email campaign that people kind of push you through. They usually start with what they call a webinar, right? From the webinar, it starts to break people off into different categories. Yes, then he does this. No, then he does that. And then they try to just bring you to different products. I came across a funnel from a funnel guy who was working with me, and he told me they had a funnel where they created 2 categories of people: low vibrational and high vibrational. And I promise you, I got names and receipts on these funnels. So this is how they're viewing people: low and high vibration. I viewed every single one of my students as a person, not a number. Okay? As a person, not a number. So when you start to put people in those categories, you start to know that this low vibrational person is not going to buy the high ticket item, but you put out some bullshit for them. It's usually about $7, $19, right? So I'm going to drop that. I'm not even going to drop the funnel, but I'm going to drop a website and a social media page that's going to allow, because we never had checks and balances on the internet. Okay. I'm going to create a page, and every single body who has ever sold a product on the internet, whether it was old or new, it's going to be like a Google review site. If the owner wants to capture and claim, then that's on them. This is totally decentralized. Skyton Academy and even Skyton Crypto University is going to be on there for anybody to come back and just put whatever they want on there. You understand? And you kind of know it, guys. So I'm not worried about one person or 2 people out of thousands with a bad feeling, right? Because that's all subjective at the end of the day. It's just like a restaurant. Rarely do you see a 5.0 restaurant review on Google, right or wrong, Champ?
Right.
Right. So I tend to stick to 4.5 or more. That's usually my start point. And then from there, when I start to read the reviews, I kind of know when somebody's a diva. Right. You kind of pick up on like, this person's kind of doing a lot. How come these thousands of people love this? And then this one person, so it just could be a bad experience on a bad day.
Yeah.
Right. So it's subjective. But when you start to look at certain reviews, if you see a restaurant 2.0, it's like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, nah, not really. If that's your standard. Right. So that's how I envisioned this website going. And I can remember a product when we were looking for private schools for our kids. There's a social media website based in it's about all the private schools in Pennsylvania. And you would see all the kids posting, but this was right around the George Floyd time. So it was kind of showing you the racism built and what Black families had to go through when your kid is one of the only ones.
Yeah.
So you start reading the reviews and it was like, wow, this is eye-opening, right? If not for these social media platforms, like we lose a lot of control and information. Okay, so today I did a post. This Supreme Court in Brazil, they're looking at XX, which is formerly known, Twitter. Right? So that means that he is doing what they call illicit activities or allowing illicit activities to happen. And now if this thing passes in Brazil, they can't use Twitter or X at all in Brazil. If you're caught using it, the fine could be up to $9,000. So there's a young lady after I posted, this is Elon Musk now. We know that Elon is not a fan of her and he's a fan of him. I don't even want to breathe life to these people, right? It's just crazy. So what's the first thing that people do when I put up that post? They go to emotion first, right? I keep telling you guys, when you lead with emotion, you're going to get your head chopped off because you're going to miss everything. Stop killing the messenger and sometimes just close your eyes and just listen to the message. This is some of the biggest fault that I see in humanity right now. Okay, you want it to look a particular way. Champ and I get this. We're of the complexion that we are, and it's like, Black guys with financial literacy. I don't know, But then we're kind of conditioned to see guys in suits and just think that bankers are our friends. But I'm like, nah, I didn't need to go to school for financial literacy or financial planning to know that these guys are full of shit. Right. So the financial world, the way that we're bringing things out, it's for us, by us. This is FUBU back again. Right. So you have to break down those barriers. Right. And that's what we've been doing. We've been breaking down barriers. You never, and Storm, you could interrupt if you want. I have never seen this much brilliant brothers and sisters before, teaching all sorts of things, whether I agree with the product or not, just to be able to build a community, put it together, utilize technology, and just conduct business is a plus in my book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sustainability is a different story, right? You got to unmute Storm.
I got you.
Yeah, sustainability is a different story. So that's how I kind of envision it. When I came across that low vibration or high vibration, I'm like, why would you talk about people like that? And I've purchased some of these brothers' products too out of support, just to see what's going on. And it's just like, man, that was a throwaway PDF right there. But when you have millions of followers and then you can get, 500 people or 200,000 people to give you $5, is that genius?
Yeah, I want to just tap into something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You said a couple of things. I'm just sitting here like, yeah. But what I want y'all to listen to is always where somebody's coming from with their message and how concerned they are for you, your safety, your money, right? You can sit down with, like I mentioned, banks and lenders. Their objective is to get your money, get your money, get your money. And when they're talking to you about other institution and other things, it's because their main objective is for you not to give them your money and to give this person the money, right? So you got to understand, with the conversation where he's coming from now, it's really him protecting you from yourself, because a lot of the times we tend to want to do something and we want to do it now and the research after. We know we want to get, it's like, you know what? I'm going to change my life today. I'm joining somebody's program. So we run to the one, we see the ads constantly bombarding us in our face. We run to the commercial banks. We run to the closest thing that we see all the time. We go to the store and we know we're not supposed to get this type of bread or this type of cookies, but you know what it is? We won't go the extra mile and we get the bad stuff instead. Even though the research says this isn't what it's supposed, this ain't what you're supposed to use, we still don't do the extra work. So in a big summary, guys, we have to realize something. We have to put ourselves on pause with being so transactional and start being more informational. We have to really start. I don't know what else to, I like inventing words, informational. Maybe that's a word. I'm going to use that one.
I like that though.
So we have to really start going, you know what? Let me take a minute to verify this information. Let me take a minute to look at some reviews. And this is one thing when Instagram has a bad positioning, because they don't have a Better Business Bureau of Instagram where you can check stuff. So you could, Instagram, you're going to see stuff, but this is key things I look for when I look at content. I look at, are they trying to be too glitz and glamour, too many cameras, too many lights, too many actions, too many flights, too many airplanes, too many this? Because what you're telling me is behind that camera, there's a budget. And you got to pay that budget no matter, by any means, you got to pay that budget. And wherever that money comes from. When I see people still doing 4 or 5 cars, 5 or 6 houses, and all this like that, what I'm saying is they don't have, a lot of them don't. And this is what I want to get this out first before I say what I'm about to say. It has nothing to do with me looking at someone saying, oh, they're flossing, they're shining, they're making a lot of money. We're in a time where every single person is hurting. I don't care how much money you got. Billionaires got billions, but understand, when they get hit for a couple million and it hurts. Right. We got a couple of thousands, we get hit. I got hit for 100 and some thousand, and it's chaos of what's going on in real estate, and, with certain things I'm investing in. But I know I'm going to see my return because I'm investing in the right way, and I'm investing in the future of where things are going. Especially, I'm getting out of things that are not working anymore. So where is this you as a community? I'm going to try to stay focused on you guys. You need to say to yourself, am I in a space in a room where somebody has my best interest in mind, and the number that I'm looking at is a realistic number that I can afford to pay for the amount of information I'm getting? Like the amount of information, we tend to look at something, and it's only because we've become very transactional and say, how good could that be? Is only $5. How good could it be? We look at the most expensive thing and take that for the most high quality of the thing that we're looking at. And that's a big, big problem with us. When people say, oh, I bought this because it was on sale, I say, no, you didn't buy it because it was on sale. You bought it because you wanted to spend money, and they got you thinking you pay less when the actual price, what the item was, when really you had no intention on spending money anyway. It was the allure. So I need y'all to do something that's major. I need you to lock in and really figure out what works for you. And if this works for you, don't deny yourself spending what you can afford. And I want you to also think about this. How much would it cost you to do nothing? Like, how much does it cost you to do nothing? We can sit around and I have to be this way because I'm holding it. I'm getting sick and tired of us saying, yo, I could have had this. I could have made this. If I would have just invested in that, I had a chance to do it. We have to stop being the second first. Shakira, you feel me? We have to stop being the second first, y'all. Ruth, Jay Butler, we got to really be the first and realize there's information you could pay $19.99 for. There's information you could pay $99 for, and it's $1 million worth of information. I came from the space where we were doing, I come from the multi-million dollars of making money in this space, doing the big conferences, giving out information, selling information, doing everything. But one thing I found that for me, the information was definitely worth it because people got results. But when I realized the money wasn't there no more, I literally dropped everything. I used to do, no exaggeration, $30,000, $20,000, $15,000 packages. I did an event, me and my team, for $4 million event in Miami because we was making that kind of money, but we gave away information. We're doing information now. I'm literally doing $19.99 subscriptions. Literally doing $45 a month subscriptions. Literally on my YouTube, I did a post, and I'm gonna stop running my mouth after this. I'm sorry, my brother. I'm done after this.
You're good.
I did a post where I gave away my entire library of information for free on Instagram. I said the link is in my bio, and all you gotta do is comment the word knowledge. Don't you know I had over 100,000 people leaving Instagram to go to my YouTube to download all my courses. Instagram shut my page down, said I'm not following the rules. The rules was I got 100,000 people to get free knowledge, and I didn't have to pay them no money for those ads and for those people to move. And they didn't like that. They didn't like that. So I want y'all to really stay tapped in, and more importantly, share this information with like-minded people around you. Share this with people in your house. Somebody's watching you watch this, and they seeing how long you're going to stay committed before you give up. Somebody's going to ask you, what's going on that call? What are the notes you taking? They need to see you got a whiteboard up, jot down notes of everything where you see yourself in the next 5, 10 years. They need to know you serious. They need to know your lexicon. Everything you talking about sounds different ever since you joined this. And you know what they're going to say? What you been doing on that computer? What you watching? Mm-hmm. How can I be down? Sit them down when they ask you a question. Offer them, don't force it on them. Wait till they ask you. Because now people inquire when they want to know, not when they're being told. So with that being said, man, the floor is yours, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Man, my guy.
That was it.
This brother here, man. He's coming on. He's coming on to the platform. He's already on the platform. You've seen him a few times, but we're working on something to create a synergy amongst what I like to call Mount Rushmore. Right? That's the real election in politics and leaders. Okay, so we just had to let let things sizzle down a little bit. I've been through a couple market cycles before, and Storm, you could attest to this, right? Some of these guys were too young to be part of the housing crisis. They, you probably living at home at the time. No, I was owning, get my head knocked off. That short sale that didn't hit for 3-4 years after, right? I had cars inside of a parking lot that just, the battery, you don't drive it within a couple of days, the batteries are dying. Other car didn't even care, like that type of lifestyle, and when that market hit, oh my God, it's time to humble yourself. So, when you go through that, it builds a different side of you. The one thing I can say is it would have happened again, right? If not for the education of understanding what money is, right? That's the thing, guys. We have to understand what money is. I never had a great relationship with money. So this is why guys like us could create good product, because we've been knocked over the head. Champ will tell you, we've lost 6 figures in cryptocurrency before. Absolutely. Not because we're just giving it to people. We was the first cowboys, straight up. We were just trying to time the market. And it timed us a good amount. That portfolio by 2030, what do you think the number would be, Champ?
Oh man, we over a billion. Over a billion. I'm telling
you, when this thing takes off, easy. All right. So when we lead, what's the first thing we ever lead with? And good thing you brought that up, Storm. Everything is about security on this side.
Yeah.
Every single thing we teach them is security and cold storage first. So that's how I could tell. And I gave them the litmus test. So anybody that's gone through our checks and balances in cryptocurrency could see right through the nonsense. So we did our job. Even if you gave me $90, $97, $57, no dollars, you're not going to get your head knocked off out there. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when I started to see the pandemic and then the fallout between, what the rise of certain businesses and then the low of certain industries, I'm like, this is a good time right now. But I chose to sit it out to work on self. That's when I went down the spirituality path. I could have cleaned up during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. I got nothing. This wasn't even set up by then. By the time this was set up and running, it was cryptocurrency. Everyone got knocked over the head from the NFTs. So that's when I started to raise my hand. I never opt for easy for some odd reason. I never opt for the easy way out. Even when I look at the market now, if you knew kind of where I came from and just everything about me, you would know that Steve can create a simple product and clean house. I came from the days of the infomercials. Instagram is nothing but a big infomercial. If you don't know what that is, at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, these guys used to run these commercials, stuff envelopes and stuff like that, but they understood the marketing and the psyche of people. The guy staying up that late, he got a lot on his mind. So you start saying $500 a week in the 90s. I've been watching this as a kid. I'm a kid now processing this. Right? So this is the 80s. I watched this. This was my backdrop, was infomercials. Ask me why I was up that late.
So
understand. So that marketing guru situation, it's like two of the worst words to have on the internet, but I was given that name like damn near 25 years ago, 2 decades ago. I can't make this up. What you guys are going to get from me moving forward is I'm going to take you back on a history ride, because I don't think I formally introduced myself correctly to the internet. Okay? I got receipts. I have lawsuits, documentation I'm going through when I got sued in federal court in New York. I'm going to show you what wit's end is. And the reason why it's good to do that sort of introduction is because if I can tell you that you can do it, trust me, you don't got to go through what I went through. You definitely don't. And my wife was an attorney, or going to law school at the time, and she's like, "Hey, Steve, you should really sign some paperwork." And I'm like, "We ain't worried about that." We shook hands. I come from that era. So when you start to see like what got me to this point, the next thing that I didn't do, the first was the formal introduction. The next thing I didn't do was I didn't train you guys correctly. Right? I didn't train. What do I mean by that? I sat and I hit my lowest point in life. And I took the last bit of money I had and I went to California to go see Tony Robbins. It was his soonest date. That's how important it was. It's not one of those things where you're like, oh, when he comes to Jersey, I'll go see him No, he wasn't coming to Jersey for like another year. I found Tony through a series of audios and books I was just reading at the time about how to get wealth. I'm like, listen, I've been making money my whole life. I just finished up in federal court. I lost the case, just so you know. And I was 100% right. He sued me in federal court in New York because of the sheer amount of money and how he would just bury me in paperwork. Okay? That's what I had to deal with. It was the best money I ever paid. It taught me everything about who I am today. I could have easily dumbed out. The worst part about going through that case is my wife, who was going to law school at the time, when I made the decision not to sign the contract, was my representing attorney when we just ran out of money to handle this case with a lawyer. She's never done this before, but she's licensed. So you guys are worried about left and right, him and her, Dumb and Dumber. No one's coming to save us. You understand? No one is coming to save us. The one good thing about this brother Storm right here, and there's many good things, but the one good thing is he is traveling around the world. He doesn't hoard information, right? And he's not just telling us, he's showing us also. And I have another friend who's all around the world, dual citizenship. He's in Serbia. He went over to Poland. Guys are becoming multinational. So not only is there opportunity multinational, there's different cultures, right? The culture of this country is deteriorating. The money is lopsided. It's getting worse by the minute. Mm-hmm. So AI is doing what? It is going to erode everything from the bottom up. The safest guys are the guys that sit at the top. So if you're not sitting up at the top, you need to figure it out. And I get it. I get that some people took some hits. I have given away free real estate course that I put together because I'm tired of people in my inbox talking about this person took this much from me, and I'm analyzing deals that I wasn't even a part of. And I'm like, they never taught you guys how to analyze a deal. Like, that should be day one. If you ever were on a HUD, you have to know how to analyze a deal. So that shows me that these people did not want to empower you with the very thing that you needed. They cut so many people at the kneecaps during the pandemic, man. I wasn't even part of that. I posted. I was yelling in the forest at the time. There was nobody on my page. And I'm like, listen, the least you guys can do, because I had real estate at the time too, the least you guys can do is help them out. Because the money was out there. They just didn't know how to really maneuver it. When you lose money for the first time, when you actually get it, it's panicky.
Yeah, for sure.
It's panicky, but that's your personality at the end of the day. See, I've had a bad relationship with money, but I also had a good one. When you could actually strip yourself of it and get to a particular point where you're not as uncomfortable as you think you are, I tend to go inside of my bag of skill sets. So I never worry. Not looking through the circular or having to sit on a job interview and wait for a call back. And I create. And I'm not going to say that this is for everybody, but I could tell you that if you put the proper work in and you have the proper belief system, what you ask for, you can get. So that's the second part I'm leading to. So I didn't introduce myself correctly. You got a little bit of it today. The second part is, and my wife's in on this one. So now you got a problem. The very reason why I'm here and able to even do this is because of my wife. Right? Because I'm going to tell you, like, when I met her, prior to that, it could have been a different circumstance for me, put it that way. Mm-hmm. The day I met her was the day I stopped doing everything that I was doing prior. So I watched her go through law school, hard work, all-nighters. She doesn't have this in her background. Like, it came easy to some kids. You know, they grew up hearing law terms all day. This was a conversation that just happened in Brooklyn on a regular day where she was just like, yo, thinking about this law school stuff. I'm like, all right. She sounded unsure about something. And she was like, but New York is competitive. You may not get into law school in New York. No problem. I don't care where we go. I'll figure it out. So she had roots in North Carolina, some family in Texas, and then we met in undergrad in Rhode Island. So we're living in Brooklyn right now. We end up back going to Rhode Island. So if not for her, none of this would be possible right here. Even when I went on my journey to go see Tony Robbins, she's been telling me this. And I got her by some years. I look younger, but she's younger.
She gonna catch you with the hands in a second.
So, and you could unmute her if you want. Maybe she'll pop in. So the second part of what we didn't do well at the academy was, I'm like, well, damn, I went through this training. You know, we have all the tools to assist people in mindset. Oh, shit. Right? And I've watched how when we had our son, myself included, right? You're married to an attorney, just like, yo, listen, go get this bread, yada, yada, yada. She's like, nope. She got other plans. I'm like, okay. I lean in, you know, but she was getting heat from everybody. Like, what are you talking about? Attorney license in New York and New Jersey. Well, not Jersey anymore, but at the time, passed the bar in 2 states. Come on, man. That's it right there. So when you really want to see the character of like a true man, that's just like on his dime and just loves his family. And I show up. She knows. I take money off the table. What? Nah, all day. I'm in with them. So once I went on that final piece was during the pandemic where we sat together and we were different. That's the day, that's the time in history where we just elevated. I didn't have to really think about business too much. Yeah, we had some renovations going on in out of state, and it was a little hectic, but it was the most quiet time. I mean, our DoorDash bill might have been nuts, right? We was just building and just really getting a lot of things out. So I say that I've watched her just catch heat from people because she didn't want to work. And then now when I'm seeing the full picture now, I'm like, okay, got it. Right. So now she's able to sit and read and write and just create and just do whatever she wants, man. And I'm cool with battling for her for that. So I've always said she could write and rewrite the Bible. That might be a product because it was written a few times. Stop. She just has a different perspective on things, and really her true gift is she assists people in finding their words. That's just for me. She might have a different take on it. I listen to her handle the family with just all types of sorcery. Like she just whatever. You know what I mean? She does a lot of work. So, and then I'm watching her talk her friends through things. She's always been like that, but now it's like, oh shit. She asks me questions. It's like, okay, so what would you want? And I'm like, now, like before, it used to be probably a little tussle, but now I'm like, she forces you to just think. So it's making me sharper. I got a whole damn Alexa and Encyclopedia Britannica first editions all wrapped into this lady here, man. She just is a wealth of information. So we're coming together to do something that I feel is the lead in to just understanding first who you are before you get into the money part. You know what I'm saying? Like we're putting the carriage before the horse, and then we have all this imaging, and America's a marketing machine. So I'm like, it's really not our fault, guys. Like that machine is powerful because I'm pretty smart. It's they got it. I'll be honest with you. They have it. So in order to shift perspective, you have to, Mary, you want to jump in?
You have to be undomesticated. We've all been domesticated since birth. Hey, everybody. Let me just say hey. Hey, Sharika. Hey, Juanita. Wayne. Hey, everybody. Champ.
What up, sis?
Yeah, we've all been domesticated, and living in America, if you just take a step back and just really look at it, you can see what operation is happening here from the inception of the America that we know. And it's ironic because, it's marketed as this whole freedom for all, but they ain't selling freedom here.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
Oh, she has to go back on mute. I'll mute her.
Hey.
There you go.
They don't domesticate us to be free. They domesticate us to work and to purchase, to be slaves to consumerism and to work. So when you're busy doing all of that, you don't even have an opportunity to really tap into your intuition and who you are. What your intrinsic value actually is. Most people never get to tap into that ever because you're too busy giving all of yourself away to everybody so that they can just make money. And it's whack. And that's why I turned down a legal career, because I would have been away from my family for 14 hours a day, solving other people's problems instead of building my life with my family and to ensure our freedom. And this is why Steve and I really have been together for all this time because we're freedom riders. We have been together for 23 years, and we've lived together for almost 23 years, pretty much. But I feel like it's almost time compounded because we've never had 9 to 5 jobs. I went to school, but beyond that, we're together and still all day, every day, building. And I've seen 10,000 hours plus of this man just really like trying to figure out how he can serve and help his people so that we can all just thrive and have the freedom that we knew. We have very, specific circumstances. I've never, we built businesses together. We worked within the business and always together. But I was never, extracted from my household. And he worked damn hard to make sure I never had to. So what he is now able to bring with the inception of Skyton and what we hope to continue to build in the short term and the years to come is a blueprint on like how to bring more people with us. Keep your families intact, build a family, know who you are before you get into building a family so that you can be intentional about it. Create strong foundations of people who can think for themselves and who are tapped into their intuition and who see the value in people, not dollars. That's true freedom. That's living. That's thriving.
Thanks.
Get off the plantation and don't be dumb.
Don't be
Have a
dumb.
good
Bars.
Don't be dumb. I'm telling you, man. What? Him and her, for real. For real. So when you have her, that's going to walk you through who you are and what makes you who you are. And then when you start to ask those, she starts asking you those questions that make you think, and you have to write that down. That sort of accountability. And then after she's done, right, with that side of just understanding, right, now you have to put away, because there's two things right now that are happening. It's this fear and this uncertainty. So even if I gave you a crypto course, that's why I said I have to get back in the trenches with you guys. I could be a little oblivious to it because I'm kind of past it, and I thought I did the right thing by just putting the book out. But clearly there's a lot of fear and uncertainty that's wrapped around anybody learning anything new for the first time. Okay. Now I'm starting to understand, I've always played energy before, but now I'm really understanding what energy is. So I never wanted a lot of people in this academy like that. And listen, we're going to handle as many as we can, but this is not for everybody. You don't come for entertainment here. Right? This is a different situation right now. You have literally probably 6 more years to design the life you want before you will never be able to effectuate a thought without either somebody building it in a second or you just or them just pressing a button to just remove all thoughts from you.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you that's where we had it. I promise you. I've studied these guys. I've seen the stuff that they've done before technology, and this stuff they're about to do to us is wild. Wild. So this is not the time to be a skeptic. This is not the time to live in fear. Like, listen, I'm not of that age where I could say, oh, it's going to be okay. Because I'm looking at these kids I have right now, and they're still in tow, right? So as the world goes, I go first and then they follow. So there's going to be a time, I'm not going to say to them, I didn't do everything in my power to carry a generation on my back. I will not say that. Will be the minimum. I'm playing for a different game here. And it was never about a number for me when I got on the internet. I don't do numbers, guys. What's your number? What's your value? I'm just about impact. I'm in the phase of the I am part of my life right now. I am whatever I say I am. I don't hear anything outside of when I sit outside, in nature, and I'm wrapped into different conversations now. It's too noisy in the world that they built. You can't say or think something without it being in front of your face with your Apple Pay link to it. Buy now generation. That's why I didn't go back into retail and things like that. That's why I don't do mom and pop fix and flips in the hood anymore. When I did them, it didn't feel right. Just didn't feel right. My wife would tell you how much money I left on the table for real estate. I do 1 or 2 deals, a deal and a half a year, and it's like, whatever. I'm chilling. Because I get to build with my family. I don't want to be on a job site 24/7. For what? I'd rather teach somebody how to do it, not get your head knocked off, and at least know that somebody was taught right. It's nothing against them. They just when you know, you know. Storm knows. When you know, you know. Mm-hmm. Real estate's one of those situations where it sounds better than it really is. I'll be honest with you. That's what's kind of got me a little bit backed up with it a little bit. So when I start looking at real estate in a different facet now, I don't just see it as like a house anymore. I'm seeing it maybe as a resort. I'm seeing it maybe as a thriving community. Champ, storm about to storm on us. You know what I'm saying? So the way I see real estate is a little bit different. But the way that I've conducted business, if I want to just stay at that level, I was able to just see certain things and identify them quick. And real estate is nothing more than you needing to know how to regulate your emotions. You need emotional regulation.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you are not refined, you will knock heads off. That's how disrespectful this industry is. Trust me when I tell you that. So I've been project manager. I've been just a guy overseeing somebody's properties. Because once they know you're the guy, it's like, it's not even believable. And then it's like a whole nother situation at that point now. So yeah, I'm working for the guy. Probably a white guy. I don't know. Jewish, put it that way. Yeah, I'm working for that guy. So I've done this so much in business where I've had to take the back seat. This is why I come up with the circular table. It could be I don't know, maybe it's good or maybe it's bad. I don't know. But I've had to struggle with showing people who I am just to see how they would treat me. It's horrible. It's horrible when you get in these rooms with these people. It's comical to me now, but it's disrespectful. You know what I mean? And I'm just looking at them like, this dude don't even know I can snap his neck right now. This guy's crazy. It's like John Wick part-time. I wouldn't do that now, but that's how I used to think before. These type of industries that these guys are showing you, they're not showing it to you correctly. It doesn't look the way you think. I'm sending I'm doing research on rent programs because my tenants are behind right now. And I don't want to evict them because either way, a lot of people are going through problems right now. So one of them texted me today. He's like, Steve, I got the call back. I guess I'm next to figure out what the rental is, and they're helping them with back rent. This is what I'm doing. I could sit there and be emotional and be like, I need my money. Or I could just take a beat and say, you know what? I do this business and I'm just connecting it. If I didn't have that skill set, I wouldn't know how to connect those dots. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So it's not the guy that's knocking down houses all day, putting them back together. That guy don't really have that much data and information. If he ain't traveling the world looking at the way things are being built or analyzing things from a different paradigm, because that east to west, but the west works better than the east. So if you take yourself over there, you become more valuable and the cost of living is like nothing. Right, Storm?
That's exactly right.
Kill him. Grab him.
You know where I was
Grab
going.
him. Grab him.
You know,
keep it going.
Those that don't know, I went away for 32 days I want to say what's up to your wife. How you doing, Queen? Man, it's good to see you in here, man. That felt so good, man. Just hearing that, man.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you. So I went away for 32 days, went to 4 countries. And in between that time, I want y'all to understand something. Imagine taking 12 airplane flights in 32 days. I was on 12 planes flying around. Main purpose of my goal when I left was to see the other side of the world, look at real estate, buy some real estate, preparing to move out the country and leave. The power of what's going on in these other countries, which I knew is like, you know something, but you just got to go verify.
Yeah.
I needed to verify everything. Like I knew these countries were moving in this direction. I knew you had 2 million baby boomers moving every year. You have 9 million Americans. Please, anytime I talk numbers, I always like people to like fact check and go look for themselves. You have over 9 million Americans that live abroad in other countries. You have over 5 million absentee ballots coming. That's how they track a lot of people that's living abroad through absentee ballots. And for people who just naturally leave their job and retire and move and get a new residency, hand in their driver's license, they track everything. We all know they track. So you can find these numbers out. And I said, okay, well, I want to know, what is the numbers looking like? What's the rent looking like? How much it costs to buy these places? So I went to Philippines. I went to Indonesia, went to Bali, Thailand, South Korea. Key things that I've seen in all these places. They are building, I went to the Cayman Islands also. They are building for their next generation. Like they're building real estate and setting aside real estate for the next generation coming up at affordable prices because they know they need them. They know they're the next wave of keeping the economy going and preventing homelessness, doing things of that nature. And it's the exact opposite here. Here, their main goal is to make you homeless or get you on a program. So before I go into that, I'm going to stick to out of the country. So now he mentioned, prices. I'm going to give you just some numbers. I bought me a place in Thailand and one in Indonesia and in Bali. And I'm doing construction in a deal in Dominican Republic. Thailand, 2-bedroom condo, $80,000. 5 minutes from the beach.
How much again?
$80,000.
Okay.
On the beach, $160,000. I'm talking beautiful. But now let me give you far as lifestyle. If you want to rent any of these places, you can find rent for $700, $1,000, and I'm talking luxury. I went out to dinner with 6 people. 6 people. The bill came back, it was $37. $37. See, here's the thing, what I mentioned earlier. People here cheap and think something's wrong. Now, I'm out in Bali and I'm out in Thailand, like wealthy people living out here because they understand their money is going far. They're making US dollars, but they're transitioning that money into the currency of another country where it goes further. $1 in the US is not even $1 here. But if you get $1, if you make $1 and you living in Thailand, your dollar is literally like $700. It's different. See, the problem that we have, and forgive me, y'all, it's like church. So if I say you, I don't mean you directly. It's like the preacher. I could be talking to the person next to you, to your left, right, above, below. I just have to say you because somebody need to hear it with emphasis saying you because I'm talking to you. Problem is, you feel like you can't scratch your mind. You can't see yourself outside of this country. Oh, there's no way I'm ever going to leave here. There's no way I can't leave New York. I can't leave Chicago. I can't leave wherever you're from. You think this is it, the all to be all. You think your DNA consists of your state. You think your DNA consists of your block, your country. Your DNA is of the world. You should be willing to step out and go see the world. And I want to tell you, when you go on vacation, stop looking at it as a vacation. You need to go to these places and say, could I live here? What does the rent look like? What does the cost of living look like? What does healthcare look like? Which is another thing. People ask me, oh, what about the healthcare in these countries? You're going to be moving and living. In Thailand, you can go get a whole exam. I'm talking MRIs, X-rays, and inside the wellness center, what they call it, they have chefs, cook all day. I mean, it's a whole thing. $500. $500. I'm talking blood work, dental, everything under the sun. See, here in this country, I want y'all to understand, corporations have realized the power of real estate and collecting rent and equity. When you go drive by these buildings, you see the word for lease. You don't see for rent anymore. The objective is to make everybody a renter. And those who can't be renters, they will.
You can go there. You go ahead. Grab it.
Cool.
Take it.
I can't. I just can't lie to my people. I told you. The objective is, if you see 818,000 jobs disappeared out of the market and they lied about the job market, you look at the job growth, those that follow things like that, 800,000 jobs somehow miraculously disappeared so far. Now, before, when jobs went away, they would come back. Seasonal jobs, corporations would open up, people would get hired. Commercial real estate is about to collapse. Nobody's running in offices. Nobody's renting offices. Nobody's going to work. People are working from home. They're trying to figure out how to make commercial real estate residential, which would be almost impossible, because when you go to office buildings, what do they have on basically each floor? One bathroom, two the most. Now, if you're making apartments, how are you going to take one main line and run that to 10 apartments on one floor? You have to bust open the floors of 50, 60, 70, 80 floors. I've been in real estate since 1999. I know the problem with that. Commercial banks are attached to the commercial lending space. This is why they're looking to collapse. I watched a 2-hour seminar on Bloomberg. One of the main things that investors are buying is debt. Banks are selling their good debt to cover their overhead for bad debt, because nobody wants to buy their bad debt. So you have to think about this. You have to think about, if all these jobs are going away, now all these corporations are buying real estate. What does that mean for all these people losing jobs? That means they must create a new program to be able to pay your rent, pay for you to eat. And there's going to be some kind of system that they're going to be able to control where you shop, what you buy, and what you do. I want you guys to look up the UBI program. Andrew Yang wanted to run under that program, and he got shut down by that. It will have to come into play. So now, once everybody's on some type of program, I want you to think about, what does that entail? Matter of fact, before I even go there, and I'm going to try not to be too long, I want everybody to remember this moment in time. Remember when you used to drive through the toll and give people money?
Mm-hmm.
You notice how they just disappeared and nobody said nothing? Imagine that happening on a mass scale. A mass scale. Your Publix, your Wegmans, your Trader Joe's, your Amazon, your drivers. You see, Google has a driverless service called Waymo. The driverless Uber service that's running around right now. They just launched in Georgia. It was already in Arizona and I think Texas. Now they're in Georgia. What do you think is going to happen when all these drivers, no longer truck drivers, no longer driving, no more Uber drivers? That's millions of jobs. And 6 years is the magic number, y'all. 6 years. So you have all these people with no jobs, no more driving, no more none of that. And look at our kids now. Our kids never touch paper money. Our kids are ordering Uber Eats. And you know what they're doing? They're so comfortable in their space, our kids and grandkids, they don't even want cars. They don't want to drive. They Uber everywhere. They order food. So you know what that's going to do? That's going to make the transition of autonomous driving every vehicle easier. And there will be an elimination of driver license in 30 years. Trust me. Nobody will have a driver's license. It's inevitable. So what you need to start thinking is, scratch your mind, scratch your brain, and don't say, I won't ever do that. I won't ever. It's not for you. I won't ever get in a car that don't have a driver. Good, because it's not for you. But what you need to start doing is going, how can I invest in that technology? I know money is disappearing. Your grandkids, kids never touch money. So how can I invest in that new money? How can I invest in the infrastructure that's happened? But what you also have to do is realize your roof over your head is in jeopardy. Your roof over your head is in jeopardy right now. You have to say to yourself, am I willing to leave the country and live somewhere else? All of this work you're doing, you're going to build up your account. You're going to make you some great money in crypto. You're going to make your money in technology. How much impact is that if now you're paying $3,000 rent, or you're paying a $7,000 mortgage, or you have a job and your job literally is not paying you enough? So now you're using your investment money and your salary. It's three things you need to prepare yourself for. Three things, if nothing else resonates with you. At the end of your shift, when your boss comes in and tell you you're fired, what are you going to do? The second thing, you're leasing an apartment and you say, oh, my lease always get renewed, but your landlord sends you the notice and say, we're not renewing your lease. What are you going to do? The third thing you need to look out for and figure out what you're going to do is when you want to log into your bank account and it says username not found. What are you going to do? You think this Chase glitch was a glitch, or you think people testing the system? You think not too long ago, a couple of months ago, the system shut down? There was a testing of the system. If you guys Google back in Britain about 7 years ago, there was a guy who just kept taking $1 out of his bank. They didn't find out until about 3 years, hacked the system. $1, he just kept taking. See, everything is being tested for the ultimate when it shuts down. I need you to start considering where you keep your money. How are you keeping that money? How are you? He's talking security. I don't want, see, people say, oh, everything, you talking is you motivate people. I said, I'm not motivating people. I'm just being a realist. And being a realist is motivating you to do something. Mm-hmm. I just need you to act on your worst fears. And if you ask yourself, why, 3 times, why? Just not acts like, oh man, the autonomous driving is happening. Okay, electric cars. Why? Well, they want to eliminate people driving, and yeah, but why? When you do that at least 3 or 4 times, you're going to come to the conclusion that none of it is for the benefit of you and your family. None of it is going to benefit you financially, and everything is to make you a slave to something or take you away from something, but you have the power now to control your destiny. See, the access we're doing now with the Zooms and the Instagrams and the Facebook, Instagram already shut down us providing information, educating you, because they realize the educated person eventually gets off of Instagram. So They stopped us from educating. So Zoom and everything else is eventually going to be the same way, where they're going to start limiting the access to this. It's inevitable. But what I want you to do is hold tight to those around you and make a conscious decision on what you're saying, what you're investing in, and what you're going to do now, because you don't have the luxury of saying, you know what, I'm going to hold off and wait to see what's going to happen. Like, I really hate to sound dystopic. I really hate to sound that way, but the writing is on the wall. Literally in 6 years, almost 3 million people. And then in 2050, forget about it. It's going to be chaos. So see yourself living somewhere else, you having a different type of money, you not carrying any kind of phone or wallets, because everything is going to be different. But if you don't see yourself able to leave this country to go live in peace, then none of what we're saying and giving you is going to matter, because you're stuck here. All right, my brother, I appreciate the time. I appreciate y'all, being able to allow me to speak and hearing me out. I'm here. We're going to connect. I'm going to get upstairs with the family now, have me a bite to eat. I appreciate y'all. Love is love, and always seek knowledge.
My God.
Wow.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.